How do you determine who would be a decision maker for your products and/or services? What criteria must this individual meet in order to be the correct contact? What title or position will they typically hold within a company or organization? Must be in a position of authority. Needs to have the ability to make, or in cases where a group decision is made, the ability to lead or influence a decision. Needs to be someone who is or can be motivated, influenced, or persuaded to make a change or initiate a change which may need to go through additional levels of approval. Must be someone who can provide or instruct others to any information that you will require in order to prove that what you are presenting is justified, i.e. current costs, lease agreements, waste or scrap quantities, wages, etc. This person needs to be someone who has the courage and is not afraid to champion your case. They must have a backbone and not be afraid of making decisions. The individual needs to be someone who has genuine interest in the advantages and benefits that your product and/or service offers them. For example, if you can help them increase profits, then the decision maker will be someone who has a keen interest in this. If it's safety, then the decision maker will think safety is of utmost importance. If efficiency, the same applies, and so on. They must be an open-minded person who is willing to consider other ways of doing things or the potential benefits of using an alternative supplier. If they have a negative perception of your company or had a bad experience in the past, then they must be willing to consider that things are different or have improved. The decision maker needs to be someone who is a fighter, someone who is interested in being or staying competitive in their industry or field of discipline. If they have become lulled into a sense of complacency or gotten old and tired in their business and/or profession, then you may be fighting an uphill battle. Position or title is also a good indicator or starting place for decision making, but certainly not a guarantee. If you contact people solely based on their title, you may find that they meet one criteria, have authority for instance, but don't meet a secondary criteria. They are complacent because they are too close to retirement, for instance. Therefore, you may have to see if you can ignite a fire elsewhere within the organization. Identifying the decision maker, possible outcomes, course of action. You are speaking with the decision maker, very common when calling on smaller size companies. Have I caught you at a good time? Or do you have a moment to speak with me? The person you are speaking with is cooperative and provides you with a name. Would he/she use their name, be available, and they put your call through? The person you are speaking with is uncooperative and screens your call. They will not provide you with a name. Call back on another day at a different time of day when they are not in yet or off at lunch. Or either go to their website or do a Google search on the company name. Often you can find the names of owners or key contacts on their site or an association site that they are a member of. Voicemail or answering machine. Leave a message or call back. You are told that the decision maker is seldom in the office. Ask for an alternate number that you can phone or when is a better time to reach them. You ask for a specific individual but find out they are no longer with the company. Ask, may I ask who has taken over their responsibilities? Can I speak with him or her? Will not provide you with a name and will not put your call through to anyone with a name. Use the past account history, a directory, or search the internet for any name you can get to bypass reception. They try to slough you off to a department that you know in all likelihood is a dead end, i.e. purchasing, human resources, etc. You will need to take control and make a suggestion like, I agree that they would become involved once our services were approved, but with most companies, it is the VP of Finance or the controller who would make an initial decision. May I ask who that would be? What are some of the more common obstacles you may encounter? Gatekeeper, call screeners, voicemail, or as I call it, call ignore, uncooperative people, severely rude people, time issues. Especially today, many companies run lean and decision makers have limited time availability. Typical brush-off statements. Send me something in the mail. You may as well take your stuff, put it in an envelope, and then throw it in the garbage. At least this way you save on postage. What are some tips and tricks for getting to the decision maker? Here are some tips and tricks for getting to the decision maker. Getting past the gatekeeper. Typically, this person is hourly or salary and works the same shift every day. Keep track of the times you call and try to call either during their lunch break when the backup person, who usually isn't as good, is standing in. The other alternative is calling before they start in the morning or after they have left at the end of the day. Many companies have automated systems, so you can often dial your contact's extension direct, and they will often answer outside normal working hours. Always work towards getting the gatekeeper on your side. Appreciate and respect them for being great at what they do. Voicemail systems. Always leave a message, be creative, and come up with something unique. If nothing else, it is advertising and warms them up to who you are. Most, not all people will appreciate your persistence as long as it isn't obnoxious. If the company has a policy not to give out names, call outside normal working hours and use the directory to locate a contact. If that doesn't work, try common names like Smith or Brown, and when you do get someone on the line, explain that you must have the incorrect extension. The person I was calling for looks after. Go back to switchboard and ask if you can have the person paged, or if there is another number that you could call your contact at, or when might be the best time to reach him or her. Physically visit the location and ask to see the person so that you can book an appointment with them. It's harder to say no to your face. The profession of consultative sales is one of the most rewarding and challenging vocations you could invest your life in. It will introduce you to many obstacles, and in doing so, it will introduce you to yourself. Remember, the true measure of a person is the number of obstacles he or she must overcome to achieve his or her goals. This concludes step number 5 of the learning path. Please click on the green Next button with the white arrow in order to advance to the next step.